Hey folks, it's time for the quote of the day. And before we get too far into it, I need to do a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, yesterday, well, the 12th, I put up a quote of the day video. I did the whole thing. It was a normal quote of the day video. I posted it, and 3 minutes later, maybe 4 minutes, it was taken down, and I got a community guidelines violation. Now, I normally I would just, no big deal. It was part of my birthday streak, and I want to make it known that I did actually complete the video, so I consider myself to be still on that streak. We're going to be celebrating someone whose birthday it is today in just a few moments. However, I thought it was very strange, and I wanted to bring light to it because um, in on the 11th, I quoted Jerry Falwell. And the things that I said and the quote that I used were so upsetting to me that I had a hard time getting them out. I put a trigger warning on that video because they were, I mean, first of all, it was reprehensible, the quote that I used. And then the words that I used in the video were upsetting to me. They're not words that I enjoy saying, but I said them because he said them, because I thought that it was important to point out what a giant pile of shit he was. So it's interesting to me that on the 12th, the man that I quoted, who apparently his name I can't even say on this app, the man that I quoted, it was a very benign quote. It was just somebody saying, I do philanthropic work because I've got the money to do it and it makes me feel good. And I think that it's something I believe in, right? Like that's the whole quote. That was it. You can go look on my page and you will see the quote because I made a thing about it. I took a screenshot, put some words on it so that people could see the quote. I wanted people to see the quote because I think that it's very, very strange that I can literally basically post a video with racist and, homophobic language on it. And that's fine. Like that gets by just fine. Even though it was a quote, it wasn't me saying it. That just gets by with no problem. But as soon as I quote this particular man and talk about his philanthropy, it's a community guidelines violation? That seems strange. That seems strange. And I'm not a conspiratorial person, but that seems very strange to me. So I just wanted to point that out. Please go take a look at those videos if you will. Just so that you're aware of where we are in terms of community guidelines. Because if there's ever been a video that I made that deserved a community guidelines violation, it's the one on the 11th, not the one on the 12th. Now, before we get any further, I did want to say that, on the 11th, I celebrated my friend Lulu and Max. It was her birthday. And today we have another birthday of somebody that's very close to me in this community, a young man who we all just call Potato, because that's his icon. Now, Potato he is a younger man. I can't remember. I want to say he's turning 23, but it could be 22. I'm not sure. Maybe it is 22. But he is an inspiration to me in a certain way because a lot of times when I make my videos, I kind of assume that I'm talking to people that are around the same age as me. I don't really tailor my videos for a younger audience. A lot of younger folks can't even sit through a 3-minute video, much less a 10-minute video. And I know he has a hard time with it too, but it does mean a lot to me to have some younger folks watch me, and it gives me a sense of, I guess you could say, responsibility, but also just it feels good to know that there is something about my message that has resonated with him a bit. And it really does. It fills me with a sense of pride. He is an inspiration to me through his inquisitiveness and his desire to learn, something that is just so rare nowadays, unfortunately, that I can't help but mention it when I talk to him. So happy birthday, my friend. And I hope that you do have a genuinely good day. I already sent him a message, DM'd him, but I wanted to make sure I mentioned him here. Now, as far as the quote of the day today, we're going to get right into it. I had two choices. Considering that I had a horrible person and then I had a person that is perceived as horrible, I was going to go with another horrible person today because today is Fidel Castro's birthday. But considering this bullshit from yesterday, I was like, maybe we'll pivot into somebody else who honestly is much more appealing to me to talk about. So today we're going to be quoting easily the most iconic director of all time. And as a matter of fact, so iconic that if I just trace the outline of his body, you may actually be able to guess who it is, because that's what it was at the beginning of his show, was just that little line there. And if you know it, then say it out loud, because today we are quoting none other than one of the greatest directors of all time, Alfred Hitchcock. Now, I'm not going to get too into him because I really want to delve into this quote. But if you don't know who Alfred Hitchcock is, or you haven't seen an Alfred Hitchcock movie, remedy that. Like that, I can't go into any more detail. Go get a copy of Vertigo. Go download Vertigo, or go. The movie that we're going to pull the quote from today is called Shadow of a Doubt. This was Hitchcock's favorite movie he ever directed. Go, it's on YouTube. You can go watch the entire movie right now. So go do that before, like, bookmark this or whatever, like it, whatever, and then come back and watch the rest of this video, because you absolutely need to see Hitchcock movies. There's a reason he's called the master of suspense. There's a reason why he is the legendary director that he is. It's not a fluke. It's not just hype. He genuinely is one of the greatest directors of all time. He has produced some of the greatest movies ever experienced by audiences, and I could talk about him. I could tell you all about his personal life, but I really want to get to this quote. Now, I'm not going to give you a lot of context for this. Like I said, this is a line from one of his movies. The movie is Shadow of a Doubt. If you haven't seen the movie or you don't know what it's about, then I'm going to I might spoil a little bit, but it's still worth watching. I'm warning you now that just in talking about the line, I'm going to have to maybe spoil something a little bit. Now, the quote of the day by Alfred Hitchcock, like I said, is from the movie Shadow of a Doubt. And this is just a snippet of one scene. So I want to make that very clear. But it is what he says in this scene, or what the character says in this scene, is so very important for us all to understand. And that is this. Alfred Hitchcock once wrote, "I have a feeling that inside you somewhere, there's somebody nobody knows about." Let me read that again. "I have a feeling that inside you somewhere, there's somebody nobody knows about." Now, again, like I said, there might be a spoiler in this because I want to give a little bit of context to the way this is delivered, or why it's delivered. And it is intended in the movie to give you a sense of unease, and it does. It does, because you already have an inkling of what's happening in the movie, and this line is it kind of sets up this understanding that this is very true, and it's very true in the worst ways. If you're somebody that delves into a lot of kind of gaslighting and narcissistic talk on TikTok and things like that, then this movie is for you. It was made for you. It's intended for people like you to go see, because one of the characters in this is a masterclass in this. Now, as far as the quote goes, I think that I'm going to, even though it's intended in a negative way, I want to make sure that people understand that this is very true for every single person that has ever existed. When you're born, you basically, from that point on, as soon as you're able to open your eyes and have senses coming in, your entire mechanism as an organism is essentially to survive. And to do that, you start to figure out what makes you successful. Now, maybe you don't do it consciously right away, but yeah, over time, it becomes a conscious thing where you start to behave in ways, you start to construct your personality, your persona, if you will, in such a way as to make it so that you can achieve the ends that you desire. This is what life is, to a certain degree, is creating a version of yourself that will get you to where you want to go. I think that this quote in particular is very, very important when you have an understanding of how every human kind of goes through life. Like, we have to live in society, we have to live amongst family and friends and things like this, and we create versions of ourselves in light of that makes us, or we believe makes us, successful. But a lot of times what that does is it takes the person that is deep inside of you and it puts them on a shelf somewhere deep inside of you. And the whole idea here is that at some level we need to understand that we need to find that person. We need to come to terms with that person that is inside of us. And I truly believe that our goal in life should be to live in a way and become the person where we no longer have that person inside of us, and that person, that persona that we have on the outside dissipates, and we are just completely and truly, totally, authentically that person that it resides inside of all of us. I could talk about this for 4 hours and never reach the end, but I don't have time for that. So, happy birthday to the greatest director possibly of all time, Alfred Hitchcock. And to the rest of you, please, take care of yourself, take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.